Tell me, do you bleed? Because you will after this new Batman v Superman trailer, or at least I did. Hey there guys, how are you? Sorry for the delay on this video. After I watched this trailer a few days ago, well, my melon exploded and it took me a few days to put it back together. The trailer opens up with actress Holly Hunter, who plays a US Senator in the film, giving a speech about if Superman is a good guy or bad guy and the truth behind it. And on a quick side note, does anyone else find it odd that Mrs. Incredible is giving a speech about superheroes? I don't know, I just thought it was kind of ironic. Yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Holly Hunter voiced Mrs. Incredible in The Incredibles. By the way, waiting for that sequel, Pixar, give me it. And then in one of my favorite sequences in the entire trailer, we see Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne in Metropolis during the climax of the events in Man of Steel. You know, the sequence where the entire city of Metropolis is basically destroyed between Superman and General Zod, and then everybody on the internet complained, that's too much damage! Well, you know what? When two alien powerhouses get together and kick each other's ass, buildings collapse. And I like seeing things like that go down in a movie. People are going to die, this building's going to fall over, General Zod's heat vision's fucking out of control. But you know what? The great thing about that is they took that destruction and they utilized it into this storyline, giving Bruce Wayne a reason to hate Superman. And my favorite thing about this sequence is it really sells me on Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne, because when everyone's running away from the debris and the dust, he's running into it to save people's lives. And I just like heroic shit like that. Then a few seconds later, we see Bruce Wayne pulling on a rope connected to a tractor tire, possibly training to get back into shape to become the Batman once again. And I enjoy seeing stuff like this go down in movies. I just hope at some point in this film, there's a sequence where Bruce Wayne decides to become Batman again, and he gets back in shape, and there's some kind of montage. Think of almost like Rocky IV, except Batman's not climbing a mountain, he's doing pull-ups, push-ups, and maybe drinking a protein shake, because Batman needs a protein shake. Just imagine that badass Batman training montage sequence with some epic Hans Zimmer music in the background. Superman! And then after all that, we see Perry White mentioning that Batman is a one-man reign of terror, and this would lead me to believe that Batman is a true vigilante in this movie. He is almost a myth, an urban legend, and I am feeling like once Batman comes back into action, he starts doing a lot of things to gain attention. That way he can get the attention of Superman at some point, and then, you know, finally kick his ass with the Batman armor-plated suit on. I can't wait to see that. Kryptonite. It's gonna be awesome. And then it's at this point in the trailer where we finally get our first glimpse at Jesse Eisenberg, aka Lex Luthor, and this incarnation of Lex Luthor has long, stringly hair. He almost looks like a weird incarnation of Willy Wonka from the Chocolate Factory. Come with me, and you'll see some kryptonite and some other shit. Now, in all fairness, I can understand some of the complaints with Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor in this movie, or at least this trailer, but from the comic standpoint, at one point, Lex Luthor did look like Jesse Eisenberg does in this trailer with that weird straggly hair, and don't worry, at one point in the movie, you will see Lex Luthor with a shaved head, the iconic version of Lex Luthor we're all used to, so everyone calm down, it'll be okay. And speaking of Lex Luthor, one of the things I really picked up from this trailer is it really seems like Lex Luthor is playing everyone in the palm of his hand against one another to gain what he wants. Now, my theory is the US government gives some kind of power to LexCorp to control and maintain Superman. That's why throughout the trailer you see these tactical soldiers with a Superman emblem on their arms. They're almost like a backup squad to watch over Superman. One of the most notable things about this trailer is at one point you see Superman bowing down on his knees to Lex Luthor, and you're just like, what is that all about? What kind of power does Lex Luthor have in this movie over Superman? Besides kryptonite. Now, speaking of theories, let's talk about the next quick shot in the trailer of dead General Zod in a body bag. Now, the big rumor floating around on the internet right now is LexCorp extracts the DNA from General Zod to create Doomsday. And that actually has been floating around for over a year now. I actually made a video last summer about that rumor, and when I made that video, I basically said that completely makes sense because we are setting up the Justice League. You have this team of superheroes coming together, and if you don't set up a badass, big, epic villain for them to fight at one point, well, then you're just wasting your time. So in my opinion, setting up General Zod's DNA to create Doomsday by LexCorp, it makes sense. Then we're showing a really cool Easter egg in the trailer of a retired Robin suit hanging up in the Batcave. Yeah, well, it doesn't look quite retired. It looks like someone was murdered in that thing, most likely by the Joker, judging by the big spray paint on the chest that says ha ha ha. I would assume the Joker did that. And judging by that Robin suit, I would say that was the Jason Todd incarnation as Robin, because yeah, it looks like Jason Todd's suit has a stick and everything, and plus that would be following the comic book storylines where Jason Todd is actually murdered by the Joker. And then in the trailer, we get to see a quick shot of Bruce Wayne's parents being gunned down in an alleyway. Once again, we get the origin story of Bruce Wayne, why he becomes Batman, and I'm just hoping that this sequence right here is almost as long as the one that goes down in the trailer. Just give me 10 seconds, show his parents being shot to death. That sounds weird. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm just so tired of the origin stories being retold and retold. And one of the things that most surprised me about this trailer is they actually showed Wonder Woman in action. Even though this is a quick shot and you don't really understand how she plays into the story, and I hope that they don't just interject her into this story so she feels out of place. I hope it makes sense somehow and it kind of weaves throughout the story, that it doesn't take so much time setting up Wonder Woman, but it's like, yeah, she's here, she did something really cool, and I'm just curious to see how they implement that into the Batman v Superman storyline. Now, it's at this point in the trailer, which is one of the most unique scenes that really stands out to me, because I'm like, what the hell is happening here? We get to see the Mad Max incarnation of Batman. Yeah, look at Batman right here. It almost looks like he's getting ready to go pod race with Anakin Skywalker. And I really like Desert Batman. Could you imagine the desert action Batman figure that comes out? It's almost like that's the only reason they made this scene, is so they can have a different action figure that has goggles on it and a trench coat. I'd probably buy it. But anyway, in this scene, he's fighting a lot of Superman's soldiers in the desert. And it's like, what's going down in the desert? Why is Batman there? And oh my God, did Batman just snap this man's neck? No guns, no killing. Except for this guy, because fuck that guy. And then a few shots later, we get the big money shot of the trailer, a big homage to the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel. Yeah, this shot right here. Just look at that. Get ready to fat, fanboys, because I know I did. Now let's talk about the conclusion of this trailer. You see Superman rip the doors off the Batmobile, and Batman just rises up like, why'd you fuck with my car, brah? And it's just like, I can't wait to see where that scene goes, because you can do whatever you want to Metropolis, destroy it, I don't care. You don't fuck with the Batmobile. Show us a little bit of respect, man. So here are my final flicking thoughts on the Batman v Superman Comic-Con trailer. This trailer is full of fan service. This is every fanboy's dream come true on screen. If you're a fan of the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel, I don't comprehend how you couldn't be looking forward to this movie. This movie goes for it. It showcases that Batman is finally the version of Batman we've all been waiting to see finally hit the big screen. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Christopher Nolan's version of Batman. It was very realistic, down to earth, but this fantastical version of Batman, where he's almost like a superhuman in a lot of ways, is the version of Batman I've always wanted to see, because he's doing shit right out of the comic books. And I just like that this movie's going for it. And many years ago, during a Q&A video, somebody asked me, what would your ideal setup for a new Batman movie be if they rebooted it? And I started talking about Zack Snyder doing what he did with Watchmen, but interjecting that into a Batman story. And that's exactly what's happening here. But anyway, guys, here's my question to you, and let me know down below. What'd you think about the new Batman v Superman Comic-Con trailer? I thought it was everything it should be, plus more. I can't wait to see the movie. So leave your thoughts, your opinions down below. And also, if you're bored and want to see me talk about more comic book movies, look out for my Suicide Squad trailer breakdown. I'll put a big link down below or an annotation after the video. Click it, check it out. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.